What if I told you that the most feared man in history spent his final day underground, marrying his secret girlfriend, killing his own dog, and writing goodbye letters? April 30th, 1945. While Berlin burned above, Adolf Hitler sat in a concrete tomb beneath the city. The man who once commanded armies across Europe was now trapped in a bunker, surrounded by enemies just blocks away. In the next 10 minutes, you'll witness his final wedding, his last meal, the shocking test he performed with poison, and the moment everything ended in flames. This isn't a story about supporting or attacking anyone. This is pure history. The final 24 hours of a dictator who changed the world forever. And yes, this video will also help you practice English through real storytelling. Let's enter the bunker. Part 1. The Wedding in Hell. April 29th, late night. Deep beneath Berlin, inside a cold concrete tomb, Adolf Hitler made a strange decision. Prepare for a wedding. Tonight I will marry Eva. Why now? After 14 years of keeping her hidden from the world, why marry her now at the end of everything? Eva Braun had been with him since she was 17. She waited in the shadows. No photos, no public appearances. For 14 years, she was his secret. She even tried to end her life twice because she felt invisible. But when Berlin was falling and everyone begged her to escape, she refused to leave. That's when Hitler knew. This woman followed him not for power or money, but out of pure loyalty. So he said, "She deserves my name, even if only for a few more hours." The wedding began in a small, dark room. No flowers, no music, just the sound of pens on paper and bombs exploding above. Eva wore a pale blue dress. Hitler wore a simple black suit. A civil officer asked, "Do you take this woman?" Yes. After 14 years, they were married. Someone opened champagne, but nobody drank. Nobody laughed. One officer later said, "It felt like a funeral, not a wedding." After the ceremony, Hitler sat at his desk and began writing his final words, his political testament. He didn't say sorry, he didn't cry. Instead, he blamed others for the war. He blamed his generals for betrayal. And then he said something very clear. "I do not want my body to be captured. I want it to be burned." He remembered Mussolini, whose body was hanged and spit on by crowds. He would not allow the same. It was now 5 a.m. Hitler went to rest, not to sleep, but to wait. Part 2. The Poison Test. April 29th, afternoon. Hitler had one companion he trusted more than anyone, Blondie, his German shepherd. She had been with him for years, sleeping beside him, always loyal. But now Hitler called his doctor and said something shocking. "Bring the cyanide capsules. I want to test them on Blondie." Why? Because Hitler trusted no one anymore. He believed even his own people might give him fake poison and let him suffer. So he ordered the doctor to put a capsule in Blondie's mouth. The dog died within seconds. No sound, no fight, just death. For a moment, Hitler said nothing. Then he looked away. "The poison works. I can use it too." But this moment changed everything for the people in the bunker.
When Hitler killed his own dog, the one living thing he truly loved, they knew he is not planning to escape. He is planning to die. But it didn't stop there. Eva's 2 dogs were also killed. Blondie's puppies, just weeks old, were poisoned too. Why? Because Hitler didn't want to leave anything behind. No body, no bloodline, no memory. If I'm going, everything I touched must vanish too. That afternoon, Hitler gathered his officers. Some begged him one last time, "Mein Führer, we can still escape. There's a plane, we can hide you." He shook his head slowly. "No, I will not run. I will not be captured. I will stay here. I will die here in Berlin." Some were shocked. Some were scared. Some were quietly relieved. He gave permission for others to try to escape. Most would die trying. Part 3. The Final Goodbye. April 29th, evening. Back in his room, Hitler sat beside Eva. She had changed into a simple dark blue dress, no makeup, no jewelry. She had not cried all day. She was ready to die. Hitler looked at her and said, "You still have time. You can leave." She smiled gently. "No, I stay with you." It wasn't love. It wasn't passion. It was cold, blind loyalty. Hitler called his secretaries and staff one by one. He shook their hands. "Thank you. You may go now." Some wept. Some held his hand longer. But Hitler kept his face blank, emotionless, as if he were already gone. The people who once surrounded him like a king were now walking away, leaving him alone with his wife and with his death. That night became strangely quiet. Hitler ate a small meal, bread and tea. Outside, bombs were getting louder. The Soviets were now just blocks away. But inside, Hitler wasn't giving orders anymore. He wasn't reading news, because his war was already over. Part 4. The End. April 30th, 3:30 p.m. Hitler stood up slowly. His walk was weak. He went to his private bedroom. Eva followed. The door closed. Guards stood outside, but no one was allowed in. Inside, Eva sat on the sofa, calm and unafraid. She held a small brass capsule, cyanide. Hitler held the same capsule, but he also prepared his pistol. He would take both, the pill and the bullet, just to be sure. He called his aides and said, "The time has come. Wait outside. When it's over, open the door." They nodded and walked to the hallway. Inside, Hitler and Eva sat together on the sofa. 3:30 p.m. A single gunshot. The aides rushed in. Hitler was slumped on the sofa, a small hole in his right temple, blood on the floor and wall. Eva lay beside him, no wounds, only the faint smell of bitter almonds from the cyanide. They were both dead. Just as ordered, the aides wrapped both bodies in thick gray blankets. They carried them upstairs into the garden. Berlin was still shaking from explosions. The Soviets were almost at the gates. They placed the bodies in a shallow crater. They poured gasoline over them. Then they lit a match. The flames rose. The bodies began to burn. No music, no prayer, no ceremony. Just fire, smoke, and silence. The aides saluted the flames, then ran back inside. Inside the bunker, one aide reported, "The Führer is dead. His body has been burned." No celebration, just stunned faces and empty eyes. Someone said, "It's over." And just like that, everything Hitler built, everything he controlled, everything he dreamed, was now ashes in a garden. Part 5. What happened next? The next day, Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's propaganda minister, and his wife made a terrifying decision. They poisoned their 6 children while they slept, then killed themselves. On May 2nd, Soviet troops stormed the bunker. They found burned papers, poison capsules, blood on the floor, but no Hitler. They searched the garden and found badly burned bodies. They believed one was Hitler, but kept it secret for decades. Why? Because Soviet
Leader Stalin wanted power over the truth. By staying silent, he created one of history's biggest mysteries. Rumors spread. Maybe Hitler escaped to Argentina. Maybe it was a body double. Maybe he's still alive. But here's the truth. Soviet doctors confirmed the body through dental records. Hitler's dental assistant later verified it. The burned jawbone found in the garden was his. On May 7th, Germany surrendered. The war in Europe was over. Today, the bunker site is just a parking lot in Berlin. No signs, no memorials. Germany chose to never glorify the place where evil ended. This was the true story of Hitler's last 24 hours, told not to praise or attack, but to learn and remember. What we learn: no matter how powerful someone becomes, if they lead through fear and hate, they will always fall in silence and shame. The most dangerous leaders are those who are followed without question. If we don't learn from the past, we risk repeating it in the future. If you found this story powerful and want more true educational videos like this, subscribe now. Every video here helps you learn, grow, and become stronger in English and in life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.